I'm a super-powered girl whose words literally come true. The moment I say, God says I can fly, I can take off without even having wings. And if I say, God says I can turn invisible, I vanish on the spot. But when I got thrown into the apocalypse, I woke up in Lucy's body after she'd been trapped for 3 months and already starved to death. So I immediately said, God says I need a bowl of white rice. But the next second, nothing happened. That's when I realized this body had no spiritual energy. Right as I was trying to figure out how to get out of this mess, someone suddenly started slamming on the door. The door was completely blocked by a cabinet and a table, so I couldn't even look through the peephole. But the non-stop knocking at least told me it was a person outside, not a zombie. Bracing myself against the cabinet, I shouted, "There's someone in here." Even though I yelled as hard as I could, my voice still wasn't that loud. Luckily, the people outside heard me anyway, and then I heard an excited voice. With Jack and the others helping, I was finally rescued. Once I got into the back seat of the SUV, I looked at Jack in the passenger seat. He was playing with a light blue crystal, so I raised a brow and asked, "What's that in your hand?" Jack froze for a second, then answered shortly, "A crystal core." Seeing that I hadn't been out in 3 months, Jack explained, "It's something inside a zombie's brain. Once you take the core out, the zombie dies for good." Tom, who'd been quiet the whole time, couldn't help cutting in, "These cores are useful to us ability users too." "Oh, right. Are you an ability user?" From the original host's memories, I already understood what that meant, so I nodded. "Yeah, I am." "What kind of ability do you have?" Tom looked a little surprised. I thought for a moment, then said, "I can do a little bit of everything, probably." Tom glanced at me through the rearview mirror, looking totally unconvinced. "You really think I'm buying that?" I ignored him and just looked at Jack. "Can you give me that crystal core? I'll pay you back later." Jack handed it to me and warned, "Ability users can absorb energy from crystal cores, but they're mixed with virus traces. You have to remove those first before absorbing them. Otherwise," before he could finish, he saw the core in my hand turn into a dull gray stone. Jack's face changed instantly. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." After absorbing the spiritual energy, I finally got some strength back. I held out my palm. While Jack was still confused, I said softly, "God says I have a cream bun." Jack frowned, clearly thinking I'd lost my mind, and was just about to tell Tom to pull over. Then, in the next second, a cream bun really did appear in my hand. The SUV slammed on the brakes and I lurched forward. Luckily, I got a hand up in time to protect my forehead. The bun got squished in my grip and cream oozed right out. I shot Tom an annoyed look and he laughed. "Whoa, little sis, where'd that bun come from? Are you a space-type ability user?" I ignored him and kept eating. Meanwhile, Jack was still thinking about what had just happened. "When you absorbed that core just now, did you refine the energy first?" "Yeah, besides spiritual energy, there really were a lot of impurities in that core, but I don't know anything about refining. I just absorbed the spiritual energy, that's all." "How did you refine it that fast? Why were you so quick? Why would I need to refine anything? Can't I just absorb the part I need?" I looked up at Jack. Just then, the car suddenly stopped, and nearby zombies started closing in. Jack didn't press the issue. "Let's get moving first. We can talk once we're somewhere safe." The SUV started up again. After absorbing that core, I had some of my strength back, and Jack filled me in on the state of the apocalypse. It had already been 3 months. Society had completely fallen apart, and they were on their way to a survivor base that had been set up over there. After I got the general picture, I asked, "What about my brother? I went home first, but I didn't see Dad or your stepmom. As for your brother, I haven't gone to his school yet." The car fell quiet for a second, and Tom quickly broke the silence. "Jack, that's Linda Mall up ahead. Are we going in? Let's get close and let Leo take a look first." The 2 SUVs pulled over. They told me to wait until they'd cleared out the nearby zombies before getting out. Of course, I wasn't about to argue. I barely had any strength left, and going down there would only slow them down. There weren't that many zombies on the street. Once they'd cleared them out, I saw them digging crystal cores out of zombie skulls, and my eyes lit up. I hurried out of the car. Before I could even get closer, I saw the man in the white dress shirt, still dressed spotless even in the apocalypse, nod at Jack. This area should be safe enough. As for inside the mall, it's too far to tell from here. I'd have to go in and check. Jack was wiping the crystal cores clean with a fresh towel one by one. When he saw me coming over, he freed up a hand and motioned me over, then introduced the team member named Leo. "You've met him before, remember?" "Leo, this is my sister, Lucy." Leo glanced at me, gave a slight nod, and said nothing else. He'd always been the quiet type, and Jack didn't say much either before calling the other 2 over. One was Mike, also Jack's childhood friend. The other was Anna, Mike's fiancée. Jack had the strongest ability and was a fire-type user. He was lively and seriously talkative. Tom was a wind-type user, and the quiet Leo was a psychic-type user. Mike, who looked gentle and easygoing, was a space-type user, while Anna, who looked proud and wouldn't even spare anyone a proper glance, was a water-type user. Jack and Leo were both level 2 ability users. Everyone else was still stuck at level 1. After Jack and the others finished digging out the zombie cores, the whole group headed toward the mall. Even though it was still 50 or 60 meters away, we could already see zombies staggering around inside through the shattered glass. One thing worth noting was that humans weren't the only ones leveling up. Zombies were evolving too. As soon as we entered the mall, sure enough, there were plenty of zombies inside, dozens of them at a glance. Still, Jack and the others weren't too worried about the zombies on these floors. They moved slowly, so as long as the team took its time, they could clear them all out eventually. Their real target was the huge supermarket on the basement level. Unless people from the base had already organized a run here, there was no way it had been completely cleaned out. Everyone turned to look at Leo. He slowly closed his eyes, and his psychic ability spread across the first floor. Not long after, Leo's handsome face started turning pale, and sweat beaded on his forehead. When he opened his eyes again, his expression was grim. All I can say is there are a lot of zombies. Like, a whole lot. I can't tell the exact number, but with the strength we have right now... He shook his head and didn't finish the sentence. Jack wasn't surprised by the answer at all. Honestly, they'd expected this before coming here. Tom pointed toward the 4th floor. I remember there's a food court up on the 4th floor. Want to check it out? Probably not. Most of the stuff in the food court won't last long anyway. Mike shut that idea down. There are still too many zombies in there. Let's keep it low-key and just look for clothes on the 1st floor. We still need to kill zombies in safer, more remote places and stockpile more cores to level up our abilities. Otherwise, the next time we find a place with supplies, we'll have to give up again. No one disagreed with Jack, so everybody got quiet, stayed as far away from the zombies as possible, and walked without making a sound. If they found any good clothes, Mike would store them in his space. After they finished gathering clothes, they quietly backed out. I never went inside the whole time, and Tom stayed outside with me to keep watch. Once we were back in the car, I looked at Jack, who'd switched into the driver's seat. So we're just leaving? We don't have a choice. We're not strong enough. If you gave me a few more crystal cores, I might be able to handle it. Tom, sitting in the passenger seat, turned around with a grin. Wow, little sis. That little scheme of yours is pretty obvious. If you want crystal cores, just say it. No need to use this as an excuse. You can think of it as investing in me. My ability is seriously strong. A space-type ability? Mike's already a space-type too. I stopped talking. Jack glanced at me in the rearview mirror while driving. If you want crystal cores, then you need to contribute to the team. In the apocalypse, people with no value don't survive. Investment, get it? I folded my arms. Jack kept one hand on the wheel and dug a few crystal cores out of his pocket with the other, tossing them into the back. I caught them perfectly. Sure, people with no value don't survive, but you've got connections. I smiled a little. This bonus brother of mine was actually pretty decent. We weren't even related by blood, but he still came looking for me first. Too bad he was late. The original Lucy was already gone. I clenched the crystal cores in my hand and absorbed them all instantly. Tom stared at me and straight up cursed. Even seeing it twice, he still looked shocked. His expression got complicated as he stared at me. Little sis, you're incredible. I glanced at him without saying a word. After absorbing a few more cores, I felt a lot better. Following Leo's guidance, the group reached a villa district around dusk. The villa they chose as a temporary stop looked like it had been abandoned for ages. The inside was a mess, and the floor was covered in a thick layer of dust. After checking the whole place and confirming it was safe, Jack told everyone to pick a room. We'd all have to clean our own. Anna, get some water ready. I couldn't be bothered going upstairs, so I found a room with a bathroom on the 1st floor and used my ability right away. God says this is a clean, tidy room. In the next second, the whole room looked brand new, like someone had just deep cleaned it from top to bottom. Jack walked in carrying bedsheets. The second he saw my room, he froze. Why is your room this clean? Didn't I tell you? I can do a little bit of everything. Cleaning a room is one of them. Wow, guess I really haven't seen it all. Then little sis, mind helping me with my room too? Since you gave me those crystal cores this afternoon, sure. The room Jack picked was a small one on the 1st floor. I gave it one look and cast my spell. God says this is a clean room. In the next moment, everything in the room turned spotless and perfectly organized. Even the tissue lying on the floor looked fresh and clean. Jack looked at me in surprise. Lucy, this ability of yours is amazing. Then he pulled a few more crystal cores out of his pocket and handed them to me. These are all yours. After dinner, I'll go kill a few more zombies. The second I saw the cores, my eyes lit up. Copying the kind of girls I'd seen in the original host's short videos, I deliberately put on a sweet voice and said, "Thanks, big brother." Right then, there was suddenly a knock at the door.